guys, Rob here with McDojoLife, and I was walking around SHOT Show, and I'll be damned if I did not run into somebody who people send me his videos all the time. They call it bullshito. They say, how could that ever work? And I actually got a chance to talk with him, and I think what we talked about might actually change your mind a little bit. And I think I wanted to give him the opportunity to kind of explain it, and then we can kind of discuss a little bit more about what he does and the important work that he's doing around the world. So, Mr. Victor Marx, could you tell the people a little bit more about yourself and your background?
He's best known for rescuing women and children from the forest characters. ISIS is where we got really known. And I'll tell you, our goal has never been the pure entertainment of the gun disarm, but a hook so people would find out. To date, we've helped over 45,000 women and children recover from trauma. My website, victormarx.com, explains it more. But I'm grateful for today. I mean, in the last 12 months, was in Israel twice, including Gaza, the West Bank, then Haiti, then did a rescue in Iraq. And I'm very fortunate to have team members that come from Tier 1 soft community, intelligence world. So teamwork really does make a difference. But I'm very happy to have my new friend here because this is going to save a lot of us a bunch of time. With over 100 million views on the videos, we just stopped answering questions because I thought, well, some people are just too lazy to find out more. But yeah, so that's what we do. That's who I really am. But I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity for you to be willing to come on here with me, because most people, when it comes to like when someone sends me a video, they avoid me like the plague. Yeah. They don't want to have any conversation with me. They think I'm going to do some kind of gotcha journalism, which is not what I do. Yeah. I'm a realist. I want to talk about things that are reality and context of what's going on. And so when I knew you would be here, I was like, let's have that conversation. Yeah. And
I did have an event, and it's gotten over 100 million views worldwide, plus a single hand.
One thing that happens is whenever people send me this video, they go, this is unrealistic, this will never happen.
Right.
And when we discussed that, you were in agreement with that. Like, yeah, it's not something that's going to really happen. And my opinion, in which I told you before this, was that I think you might be able to pull off that first one, because I've seen how fast you are.
Yep.
But I think the second guy gets you.
Yeah.
What do you think about this video? What do you think about the realism of this, and where do you think this could actually go if you were in this situation?
Well, start with the single gun disarm. I've done it tens of thousands of times on some of the most professional men who do the killing. The element surprise is the biggest part of it all. There's a technique to it, and I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
Because, well, I've taught it to special operations teams, very specific, in theater, and it does work. I can just tell you from that standpoint, it does work. The double gun disarm, this was completely for entertainment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, see, you stopped sending me this damn video.
Yeah. Yeah. Enjoy the speed of it. That's what I tell people. And firearm experts, blade work, martial artists. And great example, 60 days ago, I'm in Haiti meeting with Jimmy Barbecue, the head gang leader of all the gangs in Haiti. And, you know, there's $1 million bounty on one of this guy's heads from the FBI. And I remember standing there, I told him, I says, La Musa and Joe is his name. I said, hey, you got $1 million bounty. That, you know, for the FBI, I said, if it was dead or alive, I could kill you right now. And I have the speed and ability I could have. But I'm surrounded by 35 mineral weapons, and I go, well, I'd never get out of here.
Yeah, of course.
And the government won't pay it. He started laughing because it made everybody bristle. And then he goes, if it was worth $5 million, I'd turn myself in. So you guys, I've been in plenty enough situations, and I'll just tell folks out there, I don't like violence. I only became good at it because sometimes it's needed when we're rescuing, protecting, recovering, or engaging people who are very evil and use violence to hurt.
Yeah, and I have a very specific opinion about violence. I believe violence is just as necessary as swimming. For instance, right now, I do not need to know how to swim. It is not viable for me to swim on this ground. That would be dumb. No one would be swimming on this floor, or they would look like a psychopath. But if you toss me in the deep end of a swimming pool, I damn sure better know how to swim.
Never heard that.
And violence is very similar. I don't need to be violent in that right now. I'm not in the deep end of the swimming pool. I'm not drowning. So I don't need to know how to do that. But whenever I do get tossed into a violent situation, I damn sure better know how to do it. And violence and swimming are very similar to me.
I've never heard that analogy. Makes a lot of sense. And with that, you know, I see a lot of young men that walk around, using your analogy, carrying flippers and, you know, in their bathing suit in town. And I'm like, hey, you know,
it's just like
easy,
swimming on the ground.
easy.
You don't need to swim on the
That's
ground.
so
You don't
good.
need to be violent for no reason.
Man, I like that.
So, I mean, but it is a necessary thing. And
Definitely.
one thing I want to do, I appreciate that you took the time to explain the context of that video, because I do get it sent a lot. And that video is old. It's like 15 years old.
Yeah.
That's not a new video, and I still get it sent. But with that said,
I was a young man back then.
young, much faster and proud of myself. Would you be willing to do that?
Happy to do it.
All right, let's try it out. So, this is the Victor Marx bread and butter, right? So we'll do the standard, right?
Yeah, and it's very specific. There's all kind of ways. I'll explain to you afterwards.
Okay.
But the main thing is that element of surprise. So I start with my hands down, and that's it there.
So I had it racked, right? And I had every intention of pulling that trigger whenever I saw him move. And I did not.
And you got to understand, doing this demo for that is the hardest, most difficult situation. He knows, he's wanting to. And I mean, I've had SEAL Team 6, Delta operators, law enforcement, everybody, they know they want to beat me to it. And I have been beaten to it twice.
Okay.
One recently, like in the last year, and maybe it's because I'm getting older, but he was a special operations guy. And let me tell you what, he had me dead to rights. And I said, okay, nobody's done that. And I said, how did you? He goes, I've studied all of your videos.
Okay.
And he goes, I found your tail sign.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And what it was, he watched for the pupil of my eyes to dilate out.
Okay.
Because I'm releasing adrenaline.
Oh, I got you.
So it's a physical. But this guy, he's a good friend, and people know him. He's well known, but we laughed. I said, son of a gun.
Well, anybody who follows my page, and if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you do follow my page, and if you don't, like and subscribe. But at this point, you know that if I would have pulled that trigger, I would have told you if I would have beaten him to the and that could have happened. I had no intention of not pulling the trigger whenever he moved, but he beat me. Hands down beat me. I'm dead to rights, planned on shooting him in the face. And if I would have told you if I lost, I lost. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just... And when it comes to the double disarm, clearly he has stated it is for entertainment purposes. So he wasn't using that as some type of training or instructional video.
No.
And at the end of the day, if he can do what he says he can do, which he just did what he said he can do, and if he didn't, I promise you I would be telling you a different thing right now, but he beat me. That's all there is to it. And if he can beat me, I've been doing this 27 years, and all I do is debunk frauds for a living. If he could beat me, who had every intention of shooting him in the face as soon as he moved, probably going to beat a lot of people. Is it going to work every time? No, he already admitted that it's not going to work every time. Everything is a percentage. But
I would say this too. This is not what I recommend for people to use. There are safer techniques and approaches. This is just, it does work if you're trained in it. There are nuances that when we go off camera, I'll tell you, and then you'll go, oh my gosh, that's how it's done. But I keep it off the internet for all these reasons. But man, I know, I saw you when you got that grip, I said, and there's a lot to it. But for those who have trained, they can use it, and we have in situations that I never want anybody to be. To the final point, people says, No one holds a weapon on people like that one-handed. I'm like, do a Google search on YouTube. It's more common than people think.
Well,
by untrained.
to go to that, like if I'm robbing you,
Yep.
I can't rob you like this.
Nope.
You have to rob yourself. You have to take everything out of your pockets. You would have to do all that work. If I wanted to pat you down, I have to have one hand on you to take what I need. If you were handing me a wallet, handing me keys or whatever, how do I receive it? At some point, I have to reach out, and that means I am holding a gun with one hand. And yes, if I'm bearing down on somebody and we're actually in a gunfight, that is a much different thing. But if we're dealing with something like a self-defense situation, the rule that I learned is if somebody wanted to shoot you and kill you, they would just shoot you and kill you. There's a reason they haven't shot you and killed you, and there's a couple. One, I need you as a human shield, right? Two, I need information from you, so if I kill you, I can't get that information. Or three, I need something from you physical that you can provide. But other than that...
And
like,
most people don't want to shoot someone up close in a bad situation. You know, you got to be a thug, drugs, typically, or it's a misfire. Professionals, you know, there's a reason and purpose for it, but I'll just say this. Always be aware, situationally aware. Assess well so you don't get in it. Avoid any type of violence or bad situation if you can. And finally, if you have to take action, train. Come train at his new facility.
Oh, I appreciate that shout out. Yeah.
This is important.
Yeah, man. And I'll talk to you guys about that in a bit because it's a long-winded thing. But I want to say I really appreciate you taking the time. And again, like it took a lot of balls to do that because you could have just said no. Like he could have said, I'm not going to get on camera. I'm not going to pressure test this. I'm not going to try it. But he did. And so stop sending me the damn video. All right. So
enjoy the speed.
All right, guys. Thank you again. Keep the martial arts legit.
My baby got robbed the other day by degenerates. So she wanted to learn some new form of this self-defense. So she did her research and perused it online and found this dude said he could move shit with his mind. He call himself Seafood Paul Zimmerman. He got a dojo with a strip on here, Cinnabon. Now she spends all day trying to